Welcome to the Alkalign Lifestyle School. I'm Fidelis Snuggle II. I'll be your guide today. And today we'll be touching on the plant-based diet versus carnivore diet theory and why I believe, first of all, it's misinformation that's misguiding people to make choices based on their food diet, and these choices aren't serving them. So what I believe it's affecting is three things. I believe it's affecting people's mood. I believe it's affecting people's energy, which you can relate to the mood, and also longevity in terms of aging. So let me write these things down. So we're gonna go with three things first. So first off, we're gonna focus on mood. So what I believe is a difference in plant-based diets versus carnivore diets is I believe that your mood is affected directly. What I think is happening to people is when they consume a diet that does not have enough electricity inside of it. This goes back to the theory of a plasma-made universe, like a unified field perspective, a quantum perspective. You have to have energy in order to sustain just a positivity. You can't have a smile on your face when you are constantly working in low power mode. What I believe a carnivore diet does based off of a plant-based diet, and this is also a whole foods raw plant-based diet. Okay, I'm not talking about just, Beyond Meat, Impossible Meat, things like that, faux meats and faux cheeses. That's not what I'm talking about. That stuff to me is also trash and garbage, and it's just chemical laden products that are pushed onto people, based on ignorance and also based on profit market. I'm talking about a whole food, raw plant-based diet where you go to, the Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's or a Sprouts store, you go to a produce section and you go purchase the organic food, for you to eat and consume, and you wash it and that's what I'm talking about. Based on a carnivore diet, which is essentially, just meat, packaged meat, not packaged meat where it's you package like a well, no, it is all packaged actually, so I shouldn't say that because you don't go kill a cow inside the road and start eating it. That's not how it works. So actually it's based on just meat that you get in a store, and a carnivore diet is pretty much based on meat and salt, and not much else. Okay, and this is how it was made. I think it was a gentleman's name was Sean Baker. I think in 2018 he introduced the diet, and what I believe was people were in a rebellious type of perspective. I stopped eating meat in 2017. I haven't gone back since 2017. That's the last time I actually consumed anything of meat product. And what I've learned was that it was pushed on to people. It wasn't because you were right. It wasn't because it was something that seemed to make people better in any way, shape, or form. On the contrary, it seemed to make people worse. And I also believe that there's studies all over the place, right? But let me really get you to understand how studies work. Once you have 100 people essentially in a study, you can then publish that study and say, this is a study with 85% of the people said this, and it's like, but there's just 100 people at minimum. Most studies that you see are going to be in controlled environments, like controlled experiments, and you're not really going to have a random based study where people are just going in and eating foods just at random, and then you get to check and see how they feel. It's not how it's been done. Okay, so throughout the course of the last 2 years, my partner and I, she's remarkable. I still believe she's the best chef in the entire universe. I'm a little biased, but every event that she goes to, she'll have people that will say, I want plant-based, or I want animal protein. So she'll cook predominantly or actually solely plant-based food, and she'll have somebody else, if somebody asks for animal protein, to have that. But what she understands and what she sees is that people gravitate towards plant-based food regardless. They still gravitate towards what makes them feel good. And this is where I'm coming up with the concept of mood. Because when you are in a certain distinct mood, a positive mental attitude, for instance, it's because something is working in unison in your gut microbiome, in your entire body's 12 systems, and it's working in unison to bring your body to homeostasis. This is where I think people fail themselves, where they lie to themselves. And they're just saying something because they've been doing it for so long. I'm 41 years old. I stopped eating meat at 34 years old. So 34 years I was consuming eggs and dairy and steak, chicken, packaged ham and things like that. I was a brown bag student, so I brought my lunch. I made my little sandwiches and stuff like that, wrapped up little cheese slices and everything. Yeah, I was that guy. And I started to see just how awful this stuff really was once I cleared myself out of all of it. Once I stopped eating and consuming all of this food, I basically just shrunk, but not in a way that was unhealthy. It was like it squeezed all the toxicity out of my blood, out of my lymphatic system. And mind you have two systems, lymphatic system and glymphatic system. They're both controlled by interstitial fluid combined with something else. So lymphatic system is interstitial fluid in blood, and glymphatic system is interstitial fluid in spinal fluid. So it's a different, element combined, but they both have interstitial fluid. And also you're looking at plasma, because plasma is the carrier inside of your blood that transfers all of these minerals and nutrients and vitamins and things from what you consume, all right, and also from what you drink, from what you eat, and it goes all throughout your entire body. What I believe, and this is solely my own opinion, and also I've done the research, and also I'm living it right now. So I'm living proof that what people are saying is obviously not true, because the thing I heard is that people say whenever they eat meat, they feel better. But I don't believe that that's actually the case. I believe that people understand actually how they truly do feel. They never actually felt healthy in the first place. So they're attributing to it feels familiar. They're saying it feels better, but better in this case would be familiar. It feels familiar. So when I eat this, I feel familiar, how I always felt. Now I feel more like myself. But if you've never actually been healthy, you don't actually know how healthy really feels. Because you have to go through a healing crisis, essentially, where you eject everything that was lowering your energy and you get rid of it. And then all of a sudden, now you allow the right stuff to come into your body, the right things to come into your frame, into your energy space, into your field. And what it does is it changes your mood. So what I've noticed is plant-based, whenever I eat plant-based, and anyone that I've talked to that eats plant-based, anyone that I've seen that eats plant-based, they just have a radiant glow and higher vibration about them. You feel it based in terms of subtle energy. And let me really get people to understand subtle energy. Subtle energy is where you can't see it, essentially, but you can feel it. You can feel someone's anxiousness. You can feel someone's anger. You can feel someone's hatred. You can feel all these different things because your body and your mind and you being a human being, supernatural human being, allows you to do these things. So you can also feel when somebody consumes something, how it changes them, okay? When I see people who eat a lot of meat, a lot of heaviness, a lot of density, a lot of matter, they're less spirited and more matter, meaning they're just less positive. They're more reactive, and it's not in a good way. It's more reactive and more reactionary, but not more creative in terms of they're creating an environment from the inside to the outside. Okay, when you have an environment based off of stress, because when you eat meat, you stress your digestive system. Regardless of if anybody wants to tell you, whatever they want to say, that does not matter. Okay, we're made, we have an extensively long intestinal system, but a real carnivore, like, the lion, tiger, bear, they have a shorter digestive system. So when you're eating and consuming this meat, it takes so long for this thing to get through our system, break down properly, and then get expelled outwardly, that it's kind of a detriment as to why do we even eat it in the first place. Because what I've noticed is that people say that they're carnivores, but they don't eat carnivores. You don't see tiger meat inside the grocery store. You don't see lion meat. You don't really see too much alligator meat. Sometimes in the South, you see it in some places. But you don't really see too many carnivores that you actually consume, because carnivores are very acidic, because that's what they are. They're acidic. They eat other animals. They eat other blood. That's what they consume. But we aren't supposed to do that. And what I think is, we forget that whenever you consume something, no energy or information goes to waste in this unified field of space. So the cells that come with the animal, the experiences that came with the animal, the history of the animal. I'm talking about everything. The interactions that the animal had. Everything that the animal had that you now consume, you consume. What I also want to understand is that you're consuming carcasses. You're not consuming electric beings anymore. These beings aren't actually charged in anything. They've been sitting in a place or in a space or in a freezer or in a refrigerator, and they're dead. It's dead carcasses, it's dead meat. So you don't actually get anything to charge up your salt battery. Your salt battery just stays at zero, at a detriment. But you're still working it because you have to turn on your system of digestion to get rid of this carcass that you put into your body, and that's just it. So what I see when people say they feel better when they eat it, I don't believe it's you feel better at all. I just believe it's you feel familiar. When you consume plants, when you consume mainly fruits, now this is going off of the system of you believe this is an electric universe, or you believe this is a separate universe where you're just here in this field, or you believe that you're in an electric field. There's a difference. If you believe in a field of electricity, you believe that you have to have energy. If you believe in the field of you're just here, everybody is separate, it's eye for an eye and all that, then you're in a completely different way of thinking in terms of how this universal mind works. In the space of a plant-based diet, and this is a plant-based diet that's done right. I'm not talking about a plant-based diet with, again, Beyond Meat, Impossible Meat, just things that you're substituting in because you're essentially too lazy to give yourself the real care that you need to learn how to do it properly. That's what I'm saying. If you do it properly, you're going to have a full-on diet that provides you with enough carbs, enough protein. You're going to have everything that you need because essentially you are made of proteins already. And this is when talking about mood, when you just eat better food, when you eat better things, you just feel better. You just feel better. You feel like you're doing yourself an actual service instead of a disservice. And so I believe mainly when you consume plant-based food, that you're already at a higher scale of thinking because your brain is able to actually think. When you eat food, again, this is on a simple pH scale, acidic food, and all meat is on an acidic scale. And the majority of plants, especially raw fruits and raw vegetables, raw fruits especially, are on an alkaline scale. If you're looking for ascension, if you're looking for a higher state of consciousness, higher state of awareness, you won't want to eat anything that's heavy or that's dense in terms of something like meat or dairy products, because the majority of dairy products are what causes cancers, breast cancers, especially breast cancers in women. It's linked to a lot of dairy products, a lot of dairy food, cheeses, milks, ice cream. And it's things that you're going to realize that your mood affects what you eat. So grief, shame, guilt, there goes your dairy. You can look at it from different times of how you thought or how you felt in terms of your mood. It made you choose things for your diet. So you also can link meat with alcohol consumption, because many people who eat a lot of meat also consume more alcohol than on a plant-based diet. When you're on a plant-based diet, you tend not to consume as much alcohol. And this is also studied. You can go chat GPT it or whatever you want to go do, AI, or Google it, look it up. What I'm saying to you is that the pros that people say, there's pros of eating chicken and beef, and they'll say, well, bodybuilders need it in order to build muscle and to have protein, which again I believe is a complete lie, because you get protein from plants. All protein comes from plants, and the majority of animals that carnivores do eat are actually plant eaters themselves. And so the larger animals on this planet all eat plants. It just kind of makes you look at things and start to question, why are they pushing this? Why are they saying this? Where did this come from? And I'm telling you, I only believe it came from a system of rebelliousness, of rebellion. Because someone knew that the FDA and the USDA and all these different platforms weren't giving you the right things. Because in this country, we feed people poison. That's essentially what it is. We just feed whatever with whatever ingredients, fast food with MSG, monosodium glutamate, these things that basically are addictive properties in foods that cause people to basically lose themselves. That's really what happens to people. They basically lose themselves and they can't even control their urges anymore. So your mood directly affects what you put into your body. It directly affects what you eat, why you eat, when you eat. And this is also a concept that people need to understand, that there's a clock. There's a real clock. Overnight, you're supposed to be detoxifying your entire body. Your gallbladder, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Your liver, 1 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Your lungs, 3 to 5. Large intestine, 5 to 7. You have a system that is helping you to cleanse your entire system. Right after that, it's your stomach, 7 to 9 a.m. You're starting to see that it's your system of digestion is turning on overnight for you to clean yourself out, for you to restore yourself. So if you're eating these foods that are causing you to be working so hard, and you're also eating, hamburgers late, you'll see In-N-Out Burger open until 2 o'clock in the morning, and they'll have the line right around the building at 2 o'clock in the morning. But why are you eating 2 o'clock in the morning? It's because your mood. It's directly affecting why you're putting this inside your body in the first place. Whenever you get into a higher state of consciousness, you don't want to eat anything else that you feel like you've harmed in order to put it inside your body, or someone else has harmed, because you realize you're taking that harm into you. And that's where you're like, okay, there has to be a different way. And there is a different way. And there's your plant-based diet. So everything that you are saying that you get, right, from eating meat, even if they say vitamin B12 and things like that, but you can get that stuff from mushrooms. You can get those things. The plants have an answer for everything in terms of what's missing or what needs to be placed in. So mineral deficiencies cannot be caused if you're doing this right. And what I really want people to understand is that their mood is directly affecting their diet. So let's go, that was step one, was your mood. Your mood's being, that's the first thing. But your second thing is going to be your energy. Your energy. Now, okay, look, I know, people look at people who eat plant-based and they're like, oh, they're skinny and they're little and they can't push anything and they can't run fast and all this. It's like, okay, look, y'all must not know that the majority of Olympic medalists that I've seen in, very intricate sports, they've been plant-based whenever they go to compete. Many of them. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying the really good ones, the really great ones, yeah, they're plant-based. I remember back in track and field days, they were talking about Carl Lewis, and Carl Lewis, he's one of the most decorated 100-meter and sprinters, 200 meters, I think he ran 200 meters too, in Olympic history, United States of America. He was plant-based, but nobody really knew that. He wasn't like something that was just talked out, and told and it passed around and everything. You'll see that many of these athletes today, they're changing the way that they're looking at their body because they have to, because you understand that inflammation is instantly caused by an acidic diet. Instantly caused by an acidic diet. So if you understand that the more acidic what you consume is, it's going to directly affect you in a bad way, in a negative way. You're going to tell yourself, I think I need to rid myself first of inflammation and then get to a higher state of electricity inside my body. And that's going to directly affect me in a positive way and raise my energy. See, when you're eating meat, you're eating something without any angstroms of energy. What are angstroms? Angstroms are a study of wavelength. The reason why you have to look at energy based on wavelength is because you are a vibrating body, as is everything around you is a vibrating body. And the faster the frequency, the higher the frequency. That means the faster the frequency, but the higher the frequency, the more energy something has. So if you're vibrating at a higher state of consciousness, frequency, you have more energy. If you're vibrating at a low state of consciousness and you're at a low frequency, you have less energy. So if you're consuming things that are keeping you in terms of matter instead of keeping you in spirit place, meaning you're how I put this, you can say dense. So if you're so dense, you're really just going to be less particle, right? You're gonna be, less on the wavelength. You have a smaller wavelength, so you won't expel light like that. You won't radiate light from within because you don't have any light from within. The light that you shine comes from within you, mainly your solar plexus, which is your gut. Your 12 cranial nerves connected to every part of your entire body. Your 12 systems in your human body, all connected in here in your solar plexus. So once you put that inside your gut, you realize that people that claim to be carnivores and meat eaters, they're putting in things that have so much. And I'm not, because farmers can sit there and say, right, that they have grass fed, right? Which I didn't know that until I started to do more research, that grass fed can literally mean you have a farm with some cows and you bring a tractor, you dump some grass and you let them eat and they label grass fed. This is how corrupt these individuals and how dishonest people actually are. I'm just like, my gosh. And I realized that they don't care. They just could care less. Eggs, chickens, you're actually eating and consuming things, and you're wondering why whenever you eat. A big joke in African American households is the itis. We talk about the itis. This is like Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, when you're eating these huge meals. Same thing every year. You get a turkey, chicken stews, rice dressings. You're eating all these same foods every holiday season, and everybody falls asleep after they eat. So listen, your gut releases melatonin after your meal. So you do have a period of time where melatonin comes into comes from your gut, and it basically, this is to help you in terms of digestion. It helps you to digest your food. But after you are done, take a short power nap, you're supposed to be up and energized and ready to go. But that's not how it works. You sleep for hours because you're so inflamed now that you put this inside your body because you put in something that was not supposed to be there. That's essentially what this is. Meat can come from a stone fruit. I mean, you can cut open a peach, you cut open an apple, and what you see, that substance is meat. That's also meat. It's not just, chicken or steak. You can eat meat from a fruit. And, you need fiber to pass through your entire body. You need to have potassiums. You need to have, yes, irons and things like that as well. But you can still get those things by sourcing them in a plant-based variety. Nuts and seeds, legumes and things like that. What I started to understand about energy was if I don't eat energy, I'm not going to actually have any energy because I have got to consume the energy to keep myself vibrating at a high frequency so I can continue to maintain and express the energy from within myself outwardly. So in terms of energy, if you split it into 4 categories. They did this study a long time ago. I have this on my website, actually. So if you guys want to check it out, feel free to click on my website. You guys can go to your energy food diet section. You guys can look this up. And also you can look it up, just angstroms of energy, and what category is meat in. Meat's in the lowest category, which is 4, which is essentially 0. Because what happens is people don't kill a cow and then cut up the cow right then and start chewing on the cow. That's not how it works. When an actual carnivore in a jungle goes to go kill an animal, they're eating the animal alive, literally. They're eating the animal alive. So the energy that's leaving the animal at this moment in time, while the animal is still breathing or dying in that regard, they're taking the energy from that animal right then. That's not how we do it. It goes through a process. It has to, because you can't have side of the road kill and then just start chewing on a raccoon or a squirrel. You're not doing that. You're actually killing something, and then it goes through a process. Gets sprayed. Gets so that it can last long on the shelf inside the grocery store, and you go purchase it. And when that coloring wears off, it looks the actual color of what it really looks like, and they put it on sale. They mark it down, and people still consume it. And you wonder why you get sick. If you really had where you look at a plant-based diet and you ask yourself, would I really be sick from eating this food? The answer is no. The answer is no, because there's nothing in that food, as long as it's clean, as long as it came from, it wasn't sprayed upon and you cleaned it. I'm talking about baking soda and ionized water, and you sprayed your vegetable, you washed your leaves, you did whatever you needed to do prior to, preparation and consumption. If you don't do that, then you're just putting yourself at risk to whatever somebody on a farm or whatever, they pesticides that people want to go spray on things. But still, it's in no comparison to the amount of bad bacteria that you're going to get from taking in meat. So in terms of energy, meat is in the category 4, which is of 0. They don't have any energy. Especially if you fry foods, if you fry chicken, if you're eating all of these foods, it's going into your body and it's draining you of energy, and it's also causing inflammation inside your body because it's also causing you to be dehydrated. And this is another big thing that I believe people don't understand in terms of mood, in terms of energy, is dehydration. Dehydration is what causes you stress. It's what causes you to feel anxious. It's what causes you to feel grief in a way. When you don't have enough water inside your body, you're going to feel a certain after effect. So, meat does cause you to have no energy, contrary to what people say. I can work out at any moment, at any time, no matter what, for however long I feel like it, and I can recharge my battery simply by stopping my movement. As soon as I get back to it, I'm right back at it again. I don't suffer from intense soreness. I don't take creatines. I don't take protein shakes. It's literally ridiculous for me to do any of that. All I have to do is optimize what I've already have inside my entire body. So if protein is based on branched chain amino acids, all I gotta do is eat foods that have those branched chain amino acids and then consume enough of them, and then I'm great. I only eat 1 time a day, and I eat it pretty much from the hours of 1 p.m. to maybe 5 p.m. And then the rest of the time, I may have small snacks here or there, but I stop my consumption around 7 to 8 o'clock. I don't really go past 8 o'clock. If I do, it's a piece of fruit or some grapes or something like that. And the reason why is because I want the optimal time, which is basically going to be in the early afternoon, for me to have my small intestine, 1 to 3 p.m. And after that, you're going to have your bladder, and then you're going to have your kidneys. This is going to be all throughout your entire afternoon. So you need to be hydrated at this moment in time. When you're going to consume this meat, and athletes are told this, 100% athletes are told this, still to this day, that you need to have protein in the form of meat, in the form of eggs, and you wake up in the morning when you're supposed to be cleansing yourself out, the large intestine, you're putting things back into it to cause a disruption. And now you have to use your body's systems start to start digesting your food all over again. And this is where it becomes a problem. You're always doing something behind the scenes. You're always draining yourself of energy behind the scenes. So how are you supposed to concentrate? It's damn near impossible. So as far as energy, behind the scenes, your energy is always going to be drained. You won't have any energy. So this is another thing where in terms of your mood and then your energy, eating too much meat or eating any meat at all is going to affect. And let me tell you, if your energy is low, you have no ascension. If your energy is low, you have no consciousness. You have no awareness. It's low. Doesn't matter what you look at, how you think of it, your energy is low. So because your energy is low, your awareness is low. And I'm telling you all, especially athletes, especially business people, especially, small business people, entrepreneurs, you've got to eat right because you need to have this concentrated energy. You need to have your brain, your mind energy working. You don't need to be, stalling yourself the entire time. And this is also where I see people not understanding that this is going to match you up to somebody else. You can't have two people that have two distinct eating styles and think that you're going to have a loving, harmonious relationship. It's impossible. It's just not going to work out because you're on two completely different frequencies. So in terms of your mood and in terms of your energy, right? So in terms of your mood, in terms of your energy, I believe plant-based still wins. And third, let's talk about longevity. Longevity. Now I'm sure people have watched all of these different documentaries. They've seen things like the blue zones and things like that, right? And you've got to watch and see, well, people live till 100 years old and all this stuff, and they still drink wine. And look, all right. First of all, the people who be seeing these blue zones are in areas that are not directly affected, and by outside forces, outside toxicity, but they still could potentially live a lot longer. I believe anybody could do that as long as their inner is working properly, their autonomic nervous system is working properly. You should have no issues. But what they've studies now, the last 3 to 4 years, thanks to Dr. Joe Dispenza and people like that, focusing on meditation, they focus on telomere length. Telomere length is what is like the telltale sign of you're going to be, young when you're old. Essentially, you're going to age slower and more gracefully and lesser than, and also you're going to have more muscle growth. Now, people think that the meat eaters, the meatheads, because that's what they're called meatheads, when you go into the gym and you see these huge individuals, women or men, right? They got protein shakes, they just stay in here, with they muscles out and they do all this stuff, right? And you're like, gosh, man, these guys, man, these women are just like amazing. But you don't actually understand that they are taking all these creatines, they're taking all these supplements, and they're taking all these things that are it's kind of like fluff. It's like you just blown up a balloon. Okay, you can lose it at any moment in time. As soon as you get sick because of some sort of infection that you got from consuming these things, and protein shakes and nothing, essentially they're just like poop, like they're just like leftovers from animal parts. That's pretty much what it is. It's just leftovers. I don't want to call it feces or poop, but it's pretty much just poop. It's like powdered poop. And they put it out of a bucket and they sell it to people and they say, take this for some extra protein. This is how your body works. You already have a body like with a bucket, this like little bucket right here of protein. This is your body. You're this huge bucket of protein. You start taking in these shakes and drinks and all these things, protein bars, start eating, consuming as much as you possibly can. You have too much. You're pouring more on an already full bucket. So essentially, it's just going to become bad bacteria. Bad bacteria is going to become toxic inside of your gut. So most people who consume protein shakes, they don't want to admit to it, but they have irritable bowel syndrome. Their stomach hurts whenever they drink it. They don't want to say anything. People who drink creatine, they take, they go to GNC, they take nitric oxides, all this stuff. They take all these different types of supplements. You're going to have some internal problems in this chemistry in you. And it's going to go all the way out into your entire body. I'm 190 pounds, about 5% body fat. You can see all of my vein striation, whatever you want to call it. I got everything. All of it. Abs, all of it. I got everything. And this is not anything that has to do with animal protein that got me this. It's everything that has to do with plant-based protein, living a holistic lifestyle that I call the Alkalign Lifestyle. Meditate every morning, hydrate myself in the afternoon, consume high amounts of raw fruit, especially water-based fruit and raw vegetables. I do eat things like tofu. I do eat things like walnuts and almonds, and I do consume these types of things because what I understand was it's giving me more muscle growth. It's helping me build my muscles and maintain lean muscle mass. I can still pick up the same amount of weight, and I don't even feel it. I don't feel it like I used to feel it. And what I mean is, when I would be in there in the gym squatting 225, I felt all 225 during it and after. Now I go and squat 225, and I can do it 100 times and then walk out the gym. And I can come back tomorrow and do it again. And I never had that recovery time that was so fast. I never had it. I never had the oxygen flow inside of my blood because my blood was never purified until I got into this holistic lifestyle. So what I'm saying in terms of our longevity is the main reason for people to crumble from the inside out is basically oxidation. They start rusting, so they get wrinkly. They also are dehydrated. And this is where, again, I'm saying a person that eats and consumes a lot of meat is a detriment. Because what they're doing to their system is they're putting in all of this food that's sitting. It just sits in here because it takes days for it to break down. And when you consistently, continuously consume these things, you'll see it in your skin, you'll see it in your smell, especially your smell. Yeah, I know women won't talk about that stuff, but men and women alike, you'll see it in your sweating. You'll see your body attempting to get rid of what you've been putting inside of it. And you can smell it. It doesn't smell very good. Women, especially your vagina smells, your underarms, your armpits smell, men, your semen, your whole sections of your body start to excrete these pheromones that just don't. It's gross. It just doesn't smell good. It's disgusting. Because it's attempting to clean yourself out. So most women won't admit that their vagina smells, right? Or that their underarms stink, or that their stomach hurts, and they're passing gas and things like men too, right? Like they don't want to admit that they have problems with digestion because of stress or because of what they've been putting inside their body, because their mood is affected, what they've been putting in, their energy is low, and then they decide, well, I have more muscle mass because I've been eating this certain way. No, it's completely wrong. It's all backwards. And it's been pushed to everyone by the industries. So when you go into a fitness show, you go out and you see these booths in the front of it, and they have all of these different, samples to try. Try this, the new protein with something, with creatine, with this strain of this inside of it to help you to have more oxygen flow. And you don't need to do any of that to have more oxygen flow. What you need to do is get rid of things to have more oxygen flow. Having more oxygen flow is nothing but getting an electric charge inside your body, so grounding yourself more, hydrating yourself more, okay? And then releasing stress from your body, also changing your clock, your internal clock. That gets you to hydrate yourself in an instant. That also gets you to start moving oxygen throughout the entire body. The more water that you have, so people can go on these water fasts, right? If you want to lose weight, you don't have to take Ozempic or whatever that new drug is called, because that drug is going to kill people. It's probably already been killing people, making them sick. And the reason is because you have a natural system that allows you to burn, fat, which is basically fasting. You just do fasted cardio, you do fasted training, and your body does it for you. You don't have to do anything because you basically breathe the fat out. You're breathing it out. So running, doing high intensity work that makes you take in more oxygen. The oxygen is what's dissolving the fat because the fat stores toxin. And that's what happens to people who hold on to different things based on energy. They're holding on to energy. They're holding on to bad energy, toxic energy. You're just holding on to it. Once you let it go, you freely just let it go, all of a sudden you increase the flow. That's just what happens. So if you're a person that's overweight at this moment, you're looking to lose weight, what you want to do first off is you check your lifestyle as far as your stress level. You check your diet as far as what you're eating, and you change what you're consuming into things that are going to give you higher energy and they're going to be lighter on your body. Meat is heavy. So all this talk about carnivores, it's losing traction at this moment because now they're putting it under a microscope. Now they're saying, well, what is it really, right? Because people were, again, misinformed. But they're misinformed because they were just in a rebellious state. And like I'm telling you, when you start to see COVIDs and all this stuff was perpetuated by acidity. Acidosis was, and I still, claim this to this day, you can look up the research. A person with an acidic pH was more liable to get sick during the times of COVID than a person who was alkaline, in an alkaline state. There's so many people who in this country, in the Western world especially, who are acidic. That's why you're seeing so many different sicknesses and outbreaks occur. You won't be healthy from getting a booster shot. I to this day, I think it's still the most ridiculous way to make people ignorant or afraid of themselves is to go tell somebody, take this shot and you're going to be healthy. No, you have to change your lifestyle, and then you're going to be healthy. Your lifestyle is your insurance policy, not Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's your lifestyle. If you don't change your lifestyle, it doesn't matter if you got $1 trillion. You're still stupid. You're still going to die because you're going to be the mass murderer that kills your own self. And it's going to be your fault. You know what they're going to tell you? I'm sorry, but your blood work came back and we don't see anything wrong with you. We don't know what's going on with you. Yeah, of course I don't know what's going on with you because you're the one that's causing it. Because that's what's called autoimmune disease. It's based on your autonomic nervous system malfunctioning, thinking that you have a problem because you created the problem that you never had. And now it's responding to you as if you set the fire alarm off with no fire. You can't live like that. Everyone has got to get out of fight or flight mode. So in terms of longevity, you're shortening your lifespan. If you want to be the person that says, I'm going to go to be a carnivore for the rest of my life, you're going to be walking around with this low vibration the entire time, speaking in this low monotone space like this. You're not going to ever be able to be enthusiastic because you don't have any enthusiasm. Because enthused means you're full of a spirit. You're full of the mind of God. But it's impossible if you've been a carnivore. So all I'm expressing, in this video, what 3 of the most important things, and I'm going to add one more thing here because I've been seeing people really struggle with this right now. It's depression, and not only depression, but let's talk about sexual intimacy. Sexual intimacy. So depression and sexual intimacy. This is utterly linked, in my opinion. And when you have people who eat a lot of meat, men and women alike, you lose the libido. You lose the ability to have blood flow from your head to your penis, men. So here comes erectile dysfunction. Is it actual dysfunction? No, you just can't get the signal from here to here and the blood to flow. You can't get the blood to flow because you have so many blockages inside of your body. It's what you've caused. Meat eaters can't get erection like that. You can't. Because from the hours of about 5 a.m. to 11 a.m., this is when you're supposed to have at least testosterone. coming from your own brain. You don't need to go get a testosterone supplement. Testosterone supplement is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Why? Because you make your own. You make your own testosterone. You make your own estrogen. But if you're eating synthetic estrogen, or synthetic basically means somebody made it, all right? In a chemical laboratory, they basically made it. It's not real. It's not really a natural process that occurred. It's just like, someone putting it inside a package and saying, here, this is better than what you already have, which is never the case. It's never better than what you already have. You have the best no matter what you think. You have the best of the best no matter what you think. So you always look at yourself in a different way, in a different capacity. You always look at yourself and you say, from what I am and what I have, and it's just different. Okay? You've got to look at yourself and really respect and appreciate and admire your entire body and your entire vessel. The reason why people aren't having sex anymore is because they're so sick on the inside. They don't even have the energy to have sex. So this is all affecting you based on sexual intimacy, your mood. What's your wife say? I'm not in the mood. I don't have the energy. I'm too tired. Oh, I'm so tired. They don't have it. So those first two things are directly affected by their food, what they've been eating, the meat. A man who's plant-based is going to have an erection. He's not going to have a problem being able to get it up. You see what I'm saying? But this is where it's being looked down upon. And people aren't understanding that. So in terms of sex, you'd rather have a plant-based man than a carnivore man. And that's just 100% the truth, guaranteed. If you are a plant-based, whole, raw food, plant-based, you do it right, you eat it right, you prepare it right for yourself, you have no problem with sexual intimacy because you have the energy, you have the right mood, and again, you have the muscle, you have the longevity, you have all of it there. You're able to create connection. But when you have the wrong ingredients that are going inside your body, you do not have the right energy, the right mood. You don't have the right system inside your body to be able to take care of that. So you can't even pleasure your own partner. So most men can't pleasure their wife, but they're complaining that their wife don't want to pleasure them. Most men are overweight, they're walking around, they got, pot bellies. You got pot bellies because you're walking around with a bunch of poop, a bunch of feces and waste. Most of it is just meat and other undigested food that has not been passed through your entire system. That's why you can't pleasure your partner. So it's your fault. And then also most women the same exact way. Most women are doing the same exact thing that the men are doing, but they're just doing it on a complete opposite scale. They don't have any energy because they're so drained because of the coffee that they constantly drink and the constant stresses they put on their system based on seeking things from the outside, seeking approval from the outside. They don't believe in an internal way of being, so they don't understand how to create more energy from eating plant-based. So they go in and take out Starbucks and you see these, you can tell through someone's skin. That's why you have the acne. And it's also why, not just the acne, but you have these bumps and it's like itchy, scratchiness, eczemas. All these things are coming from a lack of a great diet. So I hope this is kind of open your eyes to just changing what you've been consuming and why. Because your lifestyle is your ticket to health freedom. It's your lifestyle. You want to raise your consciousness, your lifestyle has to change. You want to be more aware, you want to just think from a bird's eye view. You have to change your lifestyle. And again, what you're putting in. You must change what you're putting in. Because if you don't change what you're putting in, you can never ever get on a higher scale. And that scale will cease to exist for you. So, and again, you talk to somebody I used to be plant-based, but now I used to be straight, not straight carnivore, but I used to eat predominantly meat. I used to be a grill master, barbecue every Sundays for my roommates and myself. And now looking back at it, I didn't know that it was hurting myself or them, but I just, I feel I forgave myself for it now, but it's like, gosh, man, I was taking years off people's lives, but I felt like I was doing it healthy or not. It doesn't matter, So now I'm more intentional about what I put inside my body, because this is a direct effect. When it goes inside your mouth and it goes right into your gut, it's going to have a direct effect on your energy, on your mood, on if you have a partner, relationship, your sexual intimacy. If you have a problem right now with a sexless relationship, check your diet. Just check your diet and try it and do an experiment for yourself. Go fully raw plant-based. Start off with this. Start off with a fast, with like 3-day fast, right? Where you just don't take in anything. And then after that, take in just, say like, pick a fruit. Watermelon's always great, or if you got grapes, or something like that. But I suggest watermelon because it's really powerful. It has a lot of things inside of it. Take watermelon for like a week's time, you and your partner. Watch how fast you shrink. Watch how you clear all of your toxic energy out. Watch how your mood changes, your brain starts to change, you're able to think differently, and watch how your attraction for each other starts to grow. You become more magnetic. You have even more energy to exercise now. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter. You can start whatever age you are, start right now today. But just try something different and stop living in this rebelliousness where, when someone's telling you, someone's coming at you, they're pushing on these things to you. Don't believe everything that you read. Don't believe all the articles that people are putting out, these fake dietitians that say doctor such and such, and most dietitians tell you that you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, but that's not true. It's not. You need to be able to eat in order, in terms of in unison. When you see that, it has to be in a mono perspective where one thing, your body can do one thing at a time. You always take in your fruit first, your water first, hydrate first. Okay, so if this video helped you guys out, like, share, subscribe to my channel. And, every week we got something brand new coming out to help you guys just make sure you guys get healthy, stay healthy, become healthy. Generational health creates generational wealth. It's always generational health. And if you can look at it from your health is your wealth, not just the things from the outside, you'll make a little bit more intentional choices about how you move yourself through the space. So hopefully this gave you some insight as to why, going plant-based might be beneficial for you. It is beneficial for you. And decreasing your intake of meat. If you can start off with, just take off a couple days until you get to a place where you can fully transition to something brand new. And in terms of plant-based, start off that way. Start to, decrease, start subbing things in, for the things that you used to have, substitute things in, just keep on putting things in here or there. And I guarantee you guys are gonna see a vast improvement in your mood, in your energy, in your longevity. You're gonna look younger, feel younger. You won't be as depressed feeling. Guaranteed your sexual intimacy with your partner will definitely go up. So hope this helped you guys. Until next time.